So today's topic, study physics and biophysics in Germany. We have three very special guests. They will introduce themselves later. So I'll leave this for later. First of all, who are we? We are My German University, Germany's largest database for English taught study programs. You probably knew that already because you're joining a webinar here, but still, if you do want to come to Germany and you want to study in English, we got you covered. How can we do this? We have basically three ways of doing it. We have plenty of articles, and we have articles written in many different languages. So everyday questions like scholarship, everyday questions like what is the cost of living in Germany, or everyday questions like what is the higher education in Germany, go to our articles in our page and just explore, learn. Is always a good source of knowledge. Besides the articles, we have webinars. That's quite obvious because, again, you're attending a webinar here, so you knew that already. But besides these topical webinars here about specific programs or sectors that you might be interested, we also have general webinars, we call them. Basically, topics like how to get a visa, or maybe how to apply via UniAssist. These are very common questions from international students. I know that. I had these questions. So if you have any of these questions besides our articles, please come here and take a look at the webinars. Finally, this is us, a very international gang. We have people from Georgia, we have people from Peru, we have people from Germany. These are our founders. You can see that the picture is a bit out of date because one of them has more hair than he has today, but still. So how our database works, very quickly, and I really don't want to waste any of your time with that because, again, plenty of things to talk to today. If you are interested, just go to our study finder, and you can see here there are plenty of different drop-down menus, and then you can just find what is more interesting to you. You can filter by, for example, the city you want to study, or maybe you want to filter by a subject that you want to study, or maybe you want to filter by ranking. Doesn't matter. Go there, explore. It's very intuitive. It's very easy. You can explore the subject page in case you still kind of, I don't know exactly what I want to do with my life. Take a look at our subject page, be informed. I think that's the first step for anything in life. So go there and just do that. This is kind of obvious, but I would like to encourage all of you here today that there are many different reasons why you should choose a study program and why you should choose a university. So really do your homework here and see what you want to get out of your education. Germany is a great place to do a higher education. The country has incredible programs. So sure, rankings can be important, but it's not the most important, believe me. This is a basic difference between what is a traditional university and University of Applied Sciences. There are substantial differences. Some professors might even have very strong opinions about it, but just so you know, a very superficial way of seeing is that one would be more application practice oriented than research oriented. But still, again, see what you want, check out the university and see what is best for you. You can look for the study programs in our study finder. Again, not that important. 𝘗𝘓𝘵𝘪𝘥, our first speaker, she's going to have 15 minutes to talk. Andrea, following up, also 15 minutes. Finally, Dr. Patrick. Again,
I hope that you are able to see my screen now. If I don't hear anything else, I just think you are. So I'm Gloria Gessinger, the coordinator of the master's program Biophysics at Ulm University, and I'm really happy to be here and to introduce our master program to you. This is only one of the master programs that we offer in our physics department, so feel free to also roam around on our website if you are interested in our other programs. I will introduce them very briefly later as well. So I'm here at Ulm University, and Ulm has the city of Ulm has the highest church tower in the world. So you can see that in this picture. And what you can also see is in the background the Alps of Germany, where people can go hiking. So if you really like old picturesque cities, if you would like to get to know the place where Albert Einstein was born and walked around, if you like beautiful sunsets, cute little animals, then I think the city of Ulm is a really nice city for you to live. And also, we from the Ulm University collaborate a lot with the city of Ulm. And for instance, every year we have a huge party for our graduates, our graduation party, that is on the same day as our big city festival. So here on the left side, you can see the graduation party in front of this big old church. And on the right, you see a lot of people on the Danube River, which is right directly in the center of our city, and they just float down the river and have a lot of fun, and it's nice and sunny and warm. And this being said, Ulm is located in the south of Germany, so it's really close to a lot of famous cities like Munich or Stuttgart, but also really nicely located in nature. And you can easily travel to the Alps or Lake Constance and all of this. So it's a very good spot also if you want to get to know other parts of Germany. So it's nice for living, but also for traveling. On the second picture here, you can see our university entrance. So this is where you will get in every day when you come to the university. The university, here you can see Uni Ost and Uni West is located in the center of a so-called science city. So we have a lot of different industries located in very close proximity to where we educate our students. And we have a lot of industry collaborations and very short paths. So if you, for instance, do an internship in one of the industries located here on top of the mountain, you can go to your classes in the morning and walk to your internship in the afternoon. And you see it's also very nice and green. So if you have leisure time or need a break in between studying for your classes, you can go on a small walk in the botanical garden or the surrounding forests. Ulm University was founded in 1967, and it's comprised of 4 different faculties. We have an engineering, computer science, and psychology faculty. There's the faculty of mathematics and economics, and our faculty of natural sciences with different departments in biology, chemistry, and physics. We also educate medical students and have a medical faculty. At the moment, we have about 10,000 different students and approximately 220 professors. Recently, our university was ranked the top 19th university in Germany. And we are really proud of that since our university is so young and not that old. But what I personally am even more proud of is the top university ranking by StudyCheck, because this ranking is actually done by students, so your future colleagues, and they have decided that our university is a really great university to study, to live, and to achieve the goals they are aiming for. In our physics department, we offer different physics programs, so you will hear a bit more about the physics master at University of Stuttgart later. But if I could convince you about our city, we also have a physics master, so feel free to roam around on that page as well and have a look. We have a master's in physics and management. This one is currently mainly taught in German. So you would need to have some German knowledge. The normal physics master's is taught in English. We educate physics teachers. And then, of course, the program while you are here is the biophysics master. And additionally, we also have a quantum engineering master. The biophysics master program is an international physics program, so you will be studying with students from all over the world. It is an interdisciplinary program, so you don't only study physics, but you also combine it with classes from other life science departments and other natural science natural sciences, and we offer a lot of different electives. The program has a duration of 4 semesters, which is 2 years and 120 European credit points in total. It is a full-time study, so you are expected to spend at least 40, probably more, like 50 hours per week, and invest it in your studies. Who can apply to our program? We accept undergraduate students in biophysics, physics, chemistry, biochemistry, biology, molecular medicine, biotechnology, and related subjects. Your grade in the German grading system has to be 3.0 or better. So just to remind you, in the German grading system, 1.0 is the best grade and 4.0 is the passing grade. We also expect you to have an English at a level of B2. And if you have fulfilled these criteria, then you can have a closer look. And we expect you to have had 5 European credit points in physics. And when you count your credit points from math and physics together, we expect you to have 12 European credit points in those two. If your grade is below a 2.5, we also would like to know a bit more about your motivation. So then you also need to hand in a motivation letter. Our application periods are always at the end of the year, and the next application period will actually end on the 15th of January for the summer semester. And then we have another application period for the winter semester that will end at the 15th of May. In Ulm, we also have tuition fees, and they are currently 1,500 euros per semester. And our administrative fees are 160 euros per semester. This is typical for the state of Baden-Württemberg because the law has introduced these tuition fees. But you will also see when you do your research that some universities in Germany are much more expensive. For instance, in Munich, you are expected to pay 6,000 euros per semester if you study physics there. So I think our university is actually a good choice if you would like to save some tuition fees. No? Why study biophysics? I expect some of you are physicists, some of you might be biologists, and for all of you, this is an essential question. So if you are interested in exploring the complexity of life with physical methods, or if you would like to learn and train physical methods in small groups and get prepared to work in modern day life science, then I think biophysics is actually your study program. And here at Ulm University, you can, in addition to the biophysics that we teach, specialize in an additional field of your choice. So for instance, if you are a biologist, you can take biology classes. If you are a physicist, you can take physics classes. Our main research priorities at Ulm University in biophysics are nanomechanics, molecular biophysics, cellular biophysics, and biophotonics. And the most outstanding course at Ulm University in terms of biophysics is our great biophysics lab. So we have a biophysics laboratory course that contains 16 different experiments, and you will be taught almost all of them. So we give you a full toolbox of biophysics methods. You will learn an experiment about gene expression, bioinformatics, protein labeling, protein crystallization. We also have an experiment on protein folding, stopped flow kinetics, single molecule fluorescence, and fluorescence lifetime. Further, we have experiments on ligand binding, on fluorescence correlation spectroscopy, on lipid monolayers and ion channels. And lastly, the last 4, we have live cell imaging, super resolution microscopy, optical tweezers, and AFM. So you see, we have really a lot of different experiments. We have great equipment to do all these experiments, and in the end, you will really be a well-equipped biophysicist. You will learn all these methods within 1 year, so that's the first year of your studies. And afterwards, you will have time to practice some chosen methods during your project work, during your internship, and during your master thesis. You will be super well trained and very experienced in this research field with this really nice biophysics toolbox. Let's have a closer look at the structure of our program. As I already said, in the first year, you have the biophysics labs. Those are here. And you also have a so-called adaptation. Since we accept students from so many different backgrounds, we want you to get adapted. So if you are a biologist and have not had so much physics, you will take physics classes during this adaptation phase. If you are a physicist, you will probably take some natural science classes like chemistry or introductory biophysics. During your second year, you will then start your research phase. And that's also what Diego was saying earlier. Here at the university, we are focusing mostly on preparing you for a research career. And therefore, you can do these research projects, research internships, and a 6-month master thesis. If you are more interested in applied techniques, you can also do your internships in biophysics, in biotechnology companies, and then you will also be prepared for this. When you look at the big study plan here, you also see some biophysics elective lectures, and at the moment, the lectures you can choose from are molecular motors, gene expression, and cellular biophysics. And then you also see this area, and that's what I was talking about, the subject-specific specialization. That's basically where you can choose the subjects you would like to study. And our university is very open for you to study in different programs. So you can really go to different departments and ask if you can join their modules. And to illustrate that, I put some of the classes that our students have been choosing lately. So it's highly flexible and it depends on your background and interest what you study. You could do advanced microbiology, advanced skills in life science, nanomaterials, medical device design, bioinformatics, biophotonics, causal inference, endocrinology, nuclear magnetic resonance, laser spectroscopy, mathematical statistics, medical imaging analysis, neurobiology and behavior, biophysics of medical imaging, protein biochemistry, modeling and simulation, and so on and on and on. Basically, most of the modules you find in the university, at Ulm University, you can add to your subject-specific specialization here. In addition to all our coursework, in addition to this great biophysics toolbox that you will learn, we are also very happy to welcome you here and are very eager on supporting you during your stay. And for this, we have arranged student pickups where you will be picked up from the main train station where you arrive by a senior student. The senior student will bring you to your housing that we will arrange beforehand, so you don't have to look for housing yourself. We will do that for you. And we do individual study counseling, and that's actually what I do. So if you come to Ulm University and you come up with your study plan, you can come see me anytime in my office and we can have a look at your study plan. Also, if you run into any problems or if your life situation changes, for instance, if you form a family, if you have children, then you can also come and we do counseling together and have a look at how you can successfully finish your studies. So we really take your hand, and I always say it's best to come as soon as possible, and then we can guide you through your studies. So I just want to take away the fear of coming to Germany and the fear of going to university that you don't know yet. You will not be left alone. We take really good care of you. And then one thing that is also very important at Ulm University, you will get in direct contact with your professors. So in each class, you can, after the lecture, go to your professor, talk to them, and get to know them. And that's really essential and important, because this way you will also find your research projects, your research internships. I hope all of this was able to convince you to come to Ulm City and to Ulm University. And if there's another notch needed, I can also say that you will experience really nice and cool weather phenomena here. So I want to say goodbye with this picture of our beautiful church tower, surrounded by the beautiful fog of the end of the year and the beginning of the year. And I know a lot of foreign students who really like these kind of weather phenomena and are very fascinated by that. And with this, I have a look if you have any questions.
So you should be able to see my slides now.
Yes.
All right, so yes, then let me start. So my name is 𝘗𝘪𝘥𝘷𝘦𝘳𝘴𝘪𝘯𝘨. I'm a research scientist for elementary particle physics at the University of Dortmund. And I will talk to you today a little bit about this Erasmus Mundus master program, which is called Advanced Methods in Particle Physics. So what is this master's program? It is not just based in Dortmund, but it's actually based in 3 or more different places. So there are 3 universities that take part in this project, which are TU Dortmund University, then the University of Bologna here in Italy, and the University of Clermont-Ferrand, which is in the middle of France. And then we have a lot of associated partners that help where you could do projects, do your masters, and so on. So the idea is that you can apply from all over the world. And here you see a little map of the international character that the program has so far. So you see that we basically have from each continent, except for the South Pole. Unfortunately, we don't have a student yet, but from all other continents, we already have people who are studying here. So it's a very international program. The little bit, the emphasis here on Italy depends on the fact that in the beginning, the program did not have additional funding. So only people who were self-funded could do this. So it was a little bit more based in Italy, Germany, and France. But since 2 years, people from all over the world can apply for stipends, which makes it obviously a lot more attractive to everyone. And you can see that now this is much more diverse. So we have different universities that are associated partners to this project. So if you decide at some point you want to do a master's in a very specific field that is not covered by Dortmund, Clermont, or Bologna, you can just talk to the people at that specific institute, and we can make an arrangement that you write your master's project there. So this does not only cover the universities themselves, but also certain companies, research laboratories, and so on. And if you have an idea about a project that you would like to do with a partner that is not yet on this list, we can discuss about it, and you can then come to us and talk to us about this specific program, and we can still get this approved so that you have a lot of freedom to choose what you want to specialize in. So just to give a little bit an idea about the scientific case in this program, as I said, it's particle physics, but it's experimental and theoretical particle physics. So we have topics about instrumentation and detector physics, large-scale scientific computing and programming, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and so on, but also statistical data analysis, which is very important for particle physics, because as you know, the amount of data that we are taking at some experiments is huge. So you have to have the right toolbox in order to address the questions that you're interested in. The courses are some mandatory courses from theoretical and experimental particle physics, some courses on the technical aspects, but also you can specialize for some specific topics, but you also have some extracurricular free language courses that you can take with us so that you get a little bit more familiar with the different countries that you're living in and have the chance to converse also with people there in their own language if you like to. Then there is the big benefit of this project is that in the end you get a joint degree signed by all 3 universities. So you have a degree from 3 different universities in Europe, which is, I think, always a plus, especially not just for research, but also if you want to go to industry to see that you have already worked in such an international program, I think is a big benefit. And it's acknowledged as a master degree in physics in each of these countries. So how does this work? In the beginning, in the first semester, the university the lecture starts at Clermont-Ferrand in France. Then after 1 semester, you come directly to Dortmund. There you have your second round of semester, and then you go to Bologna. And after the 3rd semester, you can go wherever you like, as long as the topic for the master's project is within the realm of experimental or theoretical particle physics. And we also offer, as I said, a lot of additional courses like language courses, but we also have special events like the orientation week. We have a spring school that I will talk about in a few minutes, and also a trade fair for master thesis. So we basically collect first from all partners specific topics for master project, and then you can choose what you are actually interested in and then choose where you go for your 4th semester. And in the end, we also have a virtual industry day, so that once you have completed your master's, you can also see, okay, where could I go with this project? If I don't want to stay in science, if I want to go to industry, what kind of jobs could I get with my degree? The study plan is as follows. So we have a lot of, as I said, compulsory modules. And in the first semester here, you can see we have some really basic theoretical modules like quantum field theory and gauge theories. Then introduction to experimental foundations of the standard model, data analysis, and then statistics and artificial intelligence, which is quite important. As I said, the statistics part is something that you can use wherever you go afterwards as well. Then we have some elective modules where we have sometimes guest lectures, so that we invite people from a different university to explain their specific topic that they are the expert in, for example, on cosmology. And then there's also 1 seminar which is not graded that you can take in Clermont-Ferrand, but usually most of the topics, as you can see here, are graded. Overall, we have about 30 European credit points per semester, so in total 120. Then after the first semester, there is a spring/summer school, which is taking place in Corsica in France. So you can see here on this nice island, there is 1 week of school on advanced particle physics, which has different lectures, presentations also by the students, discussions, and so on, and also time to bond a little bit more with your student colleagues. And also then just show a little bit of the nice location. So you can see some pictures from the school, which was in March this year. So we call it spring school because it's spring in Germany. But actually, as you can see, this is a region with very nice warm weather already in spring. Then the next semesters, we have some compulsory modules that are, again, like model building, so some theory, some practical aspects of particle physics, detector systems, so that you know exactly basically how you collect your data, what are the limitations, and so on. And then we have also some elective modules like electronics lab course, modern particle physics, and particle physics courses, and then also, again, some seminars that you can take where you have a variety to choose from. I didn't list all of them here. And in the next semester, then it's advanced standard model theory, phenomenology, and experimental flavor physics, and then also more on computer science for high energy physics. And also, which I think is quite important, is the preparation for scientific research and internship orientation, so that you get some idea what we actually expect for a master thesis, how to write one, what to take care of, what information to give in your master's project, how to conduct your research, and so on. And then in the last semester here, you have your master thesis, which as you can see, gives 18 credit points. That is written, and a final examination, which is a presentation, and an oral examination on your topic, which is also taking place at the very end. And then basically the idea is that everyone has these examinations on the same day or 2 subsequent days, and then you can all celebrate together that you've finally finished your master's project. So just some few notes on the master thesis is that this, as I said, this internship can be done at any of the 3 universities. but also at the partner universities, also in industry and other institutions, and that we have this preparation for the master thesis, so everyone knows basically what the standards are that you should adhere to. And then there's a final examination that will take place at one of the partner universities at the end of September. There are some prerequisites and organizational points if you want to to take part in this project and this program. So the first idea is, the first point is that you need to have a bachelor degree in physics or a similar, very adjacent topic. So if you, for example, did mathematics with a lot of additional physics courses, this might also qualify, but it really depends on the courses. So you basically have to hand in your transcript of records, and it will be checked to see if that fits the needs that you have in the master's project, because obviously it doesn't make sense to do a master's project if you never have done any theoretical particle physics or no theoretical physics at all, right? So this will be checked. Then your degree has to be passed with a grade higher or equal to good, which is the threshold is a 2.8 in the German system, where 1 is the best and 5 is the worst. This will be checked and then translated into the German, Italian, and French system. And there is also a command of the English language is necessary, obviously, because this is an English program, and it's very important that you understand all the teachers. So you have to be either a native speaker or at least level B2. And if applicable, a visa or a residence permit. For those, we will also give you some help and some guidance depending on the different country that you're in, because obviously this is not so easy. If you're coming from a non-European country, you first have to apply for a visa in France. Then you can, for example, apply if you're in France, then if you have arrived, for a residence permit there. And if this is granted, this will be accepted in Germany and in Italy. If you don't have a residence permit, but you just have the visa for the first semester, we can extend this in Germany. You can apply for the next visa, but we have some, there are some rules that make it easier for you to go from country to country, so that someone from a non-EU country is not at a disadvantage. We help at every step of this way. There are some costs and services. So the biggest part is probably the tuition fees, which are about 950 euros per semester. This covers all 3 universities together, so you don't have to pay anything extra to a different university. So these 950 euros per semester are fixed and cover everything. And once enrolled, we will pay for your health insurance. So in this Erasmus Mundus program, even if you don't have a stipend, if you take part in this program, we will cover the health insurance part if you don't have one. And you will have access to the services of the universities as much as possible. So for example, the support of the international office, the computing infrastructure, help in finding accommodation. This is always a bit tricky. So at some universities like Bologna, it's very difficult to find your accommodation because there is no university accommodation. While for example, in Dortmund here, we have access to some housing. So usually we are able to find housing for all of the students. And then obviously also visa support and so on. The admission, application and enrollment phase has a few steps. So first you apply to admission via the TU Dortmund University, because this is a university that you will be enrolled to for the full 2 years. Just to make it easier that you don't have to bother with 3 different systems, we do all of it at Dortmund University. And the admission is checked for all 3 universities only once. And this is valid for 3 semesters. So if we check if you're eligible for admission, but you decide, I can't come this year, actually, there is something that is hindering me, I would like to join next year, then you can go next year without having to go through this process again. And you won't have to pay again as well. And then you have to enroll at the TU Dortmund University. And then for Clermont-Ferrand and Bologna, you just have to register with the new university, which is a very light way to do it, but you will still get like a card so that you have all the advantages that the other students have at the university as well. And there are some joint examination regulations and so on. So we will discuss this all between our partners in Clermont and Bologna to make it as easy as possible. And we will collect all the grades and everything so that we can then do the final grading and give you the final document at the end of the program. The important part now for you is probably the financial support. So what do we have available? The Erasmus Mundus program is a large EU project that aims at getting obviously the best students from all over the world. And per year, we have 18 full stipends, which means you can apply for the stipend. Obviously, there are a lot of people who are applying, so we can only take a small fraction of the people who are applying. But the people who get the stipend get 1,400 euros per month. They don't have to pay any tuition fees, and they are covered for the insurance. So this is a big plus. It's also easier for non-EU students. They don't have to pay all the visa fees because there are some exemptions for Erasmus students. And since we have this 18 full stipends, we obviously have to distribute it a little bit fairly, that we can take people from all over the world. So we cannot take more than 1 to 2 students from one country per intake, so per year. Then for the people who will not get the stipend, there is another option to go take part in the program, but do self-funding, so like come up with the money yourself. But there is an additional program which is called the French-German University, which is a program with a focus on the French-German relationship and cultural exchange. And all enrolled students are eligible if they don't get this Erasmus Mundus funding, so they can get up to 350 euros per month for up to 10 months. So this is obviously a lot less money, but it's still better than having to earn all of this money yourself. So there is still additional funding for those who are not lucky enough to get the stipend. And there are a few further funding opportunities like local stipends from Clermont and Bologna and the Franco-Italian University. So we're trying to support you as much as possible. And otherwise, there is always the option also to support you in finding jobs if you have to work in parallel and so on. But I have to warn you, this is a very strong program. So you will spend a lot of time studying, so you won't have a huge amount of time to work in parallel. I think this is usually quite hard. And to give you an idea how much money you need per month to live in one of these 3 countries, it's again about 950 euros per month. If you're going to Germany, you also have to prove that you have this kind of funding. So if you have the stipend, it's easy. We write you a letter that shows that you get the money. But if you don't have the stipend, you have to prove that you have regular income, that you can support yourself during university. So the status is that we are fully accredited in France, Germany, and Italy. The program was installed already in 21-22, but this was too small a time window for the application. So far we have 4 different student intakes. The first intake, where we still didn't have the funding, was 7 students, 6 from Italy, 1 from France. Then in the second intake, we had 10, 4 from Italy, 3 from France, 2 from Germany, and 1 from Spain. And the third intake, which was the first time where we had the stipend, we have 35 students from 6 continents. And in the fourth intake, we have 26 students from 5 continents. And you can see the people from the graduation. So these are the people who graduated in 2022. And these are the students who joined us last year, who arrived in Bologna this year. And you can see it's a huge amount of students from all over the world. And I think they're having a lot of fun going through the program together. And the program is running very smoothly so far. So the initial hiccups have been solved. Obviously, with visa and so on, there are always individual challenges. But as I said, we will help you with this. So here, just last but not least, a few important dates if you're interested. You can apply for the stipends beginning January 1st until March 16th. Then we will have 2 weeks to look at all the applications, and then we will communicate the results around 1st of April next year. So we will tell you if you get the stipend or not. And then you can apply for admission. Obviously, you can apply for admission via UniAssist already beforehand, but if you don't want to run the risk to pay for UniAssist and not get the stipend, you can always do it later. You just have you can do it between January and July the 15th. So July the 15th is a hard cutoff because it takes a while for UniAssist to look at all of these documents. The EU students have a little bit more time. And then you can enroll until end of the year 2025. And it's very important to apply for admission as soon as possible. As I said, the admission process can take up to 6 weeks, and the visa process can take 3 to 4 months, depending on the country that you're in. Sometimes it's very fast, sometimes it takes a long time. But the lecture starts September 2025. So 1st of September, basically, you should be then in Clermont-Ferrand. And if you're more interested in the timeline, I will put this link in the chat box after my presentation. And the last important point is that we have a virtual open day, November 27th, so next week. And there you can ask all of the questions that you have. It's a Zoom webinar where we explain in more detail how the program works, what is important, what are the prerequisites, and so on. So please, if you're interested, look at imap.eu. There you will find the information about this virtual open day. And if you have any kind of questions, you can always write to me, to this mailing list, and I can answer all of your questions.
I'm Patrick Rommel, and I'm the course director for the International Master of Science Physics program at the University of Stuttgart, which is the program I will be talking about now. Okay, so briefly a little bit about Stuttgart, so you can kind of localize in your mind where we are. So here we have a map of Germany, and Stuttgart is the capital of the Baden-Württemberg region in the southwest. So Baden-Württemberg is roughly here, and you can see here is Stuttgart. Culturally, we have some interesting things here in Stuttgart. We have, for example, the castles of the former kings of Württemberg. We have relatively famously the Wilhelma, which is a kind of combined zoological and botanical garden. We have the Stuttgart Opera, Stuttgart Ballet. But Stuttgart is also very well known for its industry, especially automotive industry. So we have a lot of offices and manufacturing sites of global companies such as Bosch, Daimler, Porsche, IBM. And according to some measures of innovativity and investment in research, Baden-Württemberg and the Stuttgart region is up there in Europe. Okay, a little bit about the University of Stuttgart. In one form or another, it has been around since 1829. In its current form as a public university, it exists since 1967. We have roughly 20,000 students at 10 faculties, 270 full professors, thousands of academic staff. And I also want to emphasize a lot of cooperation with local non-university research institutions, like the Fraunhofer Institute or the Max Planck Institutes. The University of Stuttgart has an increasingly international profile. We have roughly 5,000 international students from more than 100 countries from around the world. We have things like the International Center for Cultural and Technological Studies. We have quite a few master's programs now taught completely in English, and a lot of partner universities throughout the world. Let me now come to the International Master of Science program, Physics. It's a 2-year full-time study program. So yeah, you're expected to study full-time, and it's divided into 4 semesters. The program is taught exclusively in English and has in the European system a total of 120 ECTS credits. The program starts once a year, always in the winter semester. I'll talk more about applications later. It has a strong international profile. We really have students from all around the world. So I'm very happy, for example, that this year we had students from Mexico, Colombia, India, Sri Lanka, China, South Korea, Greece, Cameroon. So it's really a broad list of countries. A typical batch size is about 10 to 15 students every year. So I think this gives us a great ratio of teachers to students in the classes. The study program takes place on the campus Vaihingen of the University of Stuttgart. So it's a bit outside of the main city center, but it's still relatively close. So you can reach the Stuttgart city center via the S-Bahn trains in 10 minutes. We have, for students, accommodation possibilities directly on the campus. So, for example, here in this picture, you can see here, these buildings are student accommodation buildings, or here on the right. And apart from the accommodation directly on the campus, we also have further possibilities that are conveniently reached with public transport. So for those of you who are interested and might receive these slides later, I included an informational link here for more information. Okay, now I want to talk a little bit about the structure of the program. So here we have an overview of over the 4 semesters. And first of all, there is a kind of principal divide between the first and second year. So in the first year of the study program, you will take part in lectures, lab courses, seminars, and exercise classes. So we have some mandatory lectures like advanced experimental physics, advanced quantum theory, advanced condensed matter physics. We have the advanced physics laboratory going over a whole year, then with many experiments and several seminars, and also 2 elective courses. Here on the right, I wanted to make a little bit of a list of the elective courses we had now this year. For people starting in the winter semester 24, here are some, so the ones who started now, this is the list that they could choose. So next year, the list might be a bit different, but we have quantum technologies, solid state theory, also some quantum field theory. But if you look at the list, you can see that the topics are kind of clustered into quantum theory, quantum technology, solid state theory, solid state physics, and so on. In the second year of the program, you can really focus completely on your 1-year research project. So the second year after you finish the lectures and so on really only consists of joining an institute at the university, or also certain research groups at the Max Planck Institutes here. And you can join the research group and do a research project for a whole year. So I think this is kind of a special feature of our program, that you really have the whole year and not like 6 months or so. Right, so let me talk a little bit more about this. As I said, you can join the research groups at the university or certain selected research groups at the local Max Planck Institute. What kind of topics can you expect? I listed them here. So a lot of research here at the University of Stuttgart in physics is in photonics, nano and quantum optics. Quantum technology is a really important part. Then we have physics of soft and living matter and solid state physics. So you can see the profile goes in this direction. If you're very interested in particle physics or so, then maybe the program in Dortmund is more interesting for you. But if you're interested in quantum technologies, solid state physics, and so on, then the program here in Stuttgart might be the right one for you. Okay, again, quantum technology is a really important part here. So I want to emphasize this again. I want to point out we have several collaborations going on. For example, we have the Center for Integrated Quantum Science and Technology, the IQST, which is in cooperation with the University of Ulm and also with the MPI for solid state research here. We have the BMBF Future Cluster Quantum Sensors for the Future, also with the University of Ulm and partners from industry and application-oriented research institutions. And now, for a few years, we have had the Center of Applied Quantum Research, which is a new research building into quantum technology. So this was finished 2021. This is a whole new building we've had since then, with a really specialized laboratory space for precision measurements. So you have, for example, laboratories where like the whole room is floating to shield it from external vibrations, just as an example. So, or here these specialized clean room facilities for crystal growth, and several research groups here from the university are using these laboratory spaces to research applied quantum technologies. One big focus being on quantum sensors for electric and magnetic fields, so on. Yes, I also want to point out again the special cooperation with the Max Planck Institutes. So this is kind of a special feature of the physics program. As I mentioned earlier, you can do your master's thesis not just at the institutes of the university, but also with certain research groups at the MPI. And for strong applicants, there's also the possibility to join the fellowship program with the IMPRS at the MPI, which gives you a monthly stipend to cover your costs of living, and also gives you the opportunity to get involved with the research groups at the MPI, even from the start of your master's program, not just during the thesis. Then, we know that you as students are coming from another country, so you're studying something, maybe something difficult like physics, and at the same time you have all kinds of worries about your special situation, since you come from another country. There's like stuff like visa, residence permits, and other issues. So I also want to point out that we have the Faculty 8 international team here. So Faculty 8, that's the math and physics faculty, and the international team, it's a group of students to help you with your special questions about the study program and so on. They also organize extracurricular events and activities. For example, we've had some city tours, joint barbecues, meet and greets, went to the chocolate market in Tübingen. There was a local pumpkin festival. So these events help connect with the other students, maybe with the senior students, so that you have a nice joint experience here studying. The members of the teams get contracts as student assistants. I'm pointing this out because when you're studying here, maybe you're looking for ways to finance your studies. So there's also options to join the team and help. If you're a senior student, maybe you're in your second semester, second year, you can join the team and help your junior students with their studies. Okay, now towards the end, I want to talk a little bit about application and admission. So it's a physics program, so you have to have a basis in physics. So you can have a Bachelor of Science in Physics or a bachelor in a related field. But there are certain mandatory requirements. You have to have had courses in mechanics, electrodynamics, and quantum mechanics. The program features advanced physics topics, so you have to have this kind of basis. And the program is completely in English. So we need a proof of English proficiency from you. Typically, this can be a TOEFL test with a minimum IBT of 80 or an IELTS with a minimum overall band score of 6.5. So this is roughly B2, C1, depends a bit on how you convert the scores. Yeah. And then, of course, you need the standard documents like higher education entrance qualification and so on. We also have tuition fees. We're in Baden-Württemberg, where we've heard it earlier already. According to law, non-EU students pay a tuition fee of 1,500 euro per semester. And we also have the standard semester fee of 174 euros. Yes, I want to point out that applications are now open since the 15th. So that's just a few days ago. The applications opened up and you can apply. Applications work over the campus platform. I've included the link for you here and some more information on how to apply. The application deadline for the winter semester 25, so that's roughly in a year, is February 15th. So if you want to join next year in the winter semester, you now have the chance to go on the campus platform and apply. Deadline February 15th. Okay, and with this, I'm pretty much at the end of my presentation. Here's contact information from me. If you have any questions, you can write me an email anytime, and I'll try to answer your question.
Actually, a couple of questions specifically for you, if you can answer them. One is asking, you already answered just now, but it's regarding qualifications. Someone here says that they have a bachelor's studies in chemistry, a master's in material sciences. So with such a background, I guess it really depends on the transcripts, right? If they did course.
This would depend on the transcript. I cannot make a general statement. I would have to see the transcript. If the mandatory requirements are covered, then chances are good that this could work. So, but we need quantum mechanics, electrodynamics, and mechanics. Classical mechanics.
Fair enough. And another question, also directly for you, is regarding the 1,500 euros per semester that I guess Baden-Württemberg has it, right? Like specifically the state of Baden-Württemberg has this this fee. Do you know about if the university maybe offers scholarships, or are there special cases, or there's anything that non-EU students can have?
Well, I think it's hard to get an exemption. I mean, if you are an EU student, you can get an exemption. And I mean, if you are, I'm not sure if you're married to a EU student, you can to a EU citizen, you can get an exemption. Other than that, I mean, there's the stipend I mentioned, the joint fellowship program, which is more than enough to cover the tuition fee. Actually, it's 900 something per month, so it covers the cost of living. There's like this, you have to prove your financing for your cost of living, and I think it's exactly this amount that you have to prove. Other than that, you can kind of work as a student assistant. So maybe that's a bit more convenient than working somewhere else. So you can work at the university, at the institutes, you can work in the lab with certain institutes, or you can join the international team, as I mentioned, which would also help with the financing.
Perfect. Thanks. Yeah, that was the unanswered questions. And honestly, in these final minutes, because we're already almost out of time here, there's another question here that I think is super interesting. And Gloria, I know you already answered there, but I would like to all of you, if you can answer to everyone, I think it might be interesting. So someone here asked a question basically for our guests. What are your class size in general? I've heard there can be quite small classes in Germany, like around 20 students. Is that true for your programs? So basically, not only the class size, but if you can go into a little bit about this dynamic. Maybe Gloria, you can go first, and then we go to Andrea, and then back to Patrick.
Sure. So for us, it depends on the study program. I put that we have about 10 students per year in the biophysics. It can be a bit less, it can be a bit more. It depends on how many students apply and fulfill the criteria. In physics, it's a bit more, I think between 20 and 30. And generally, for practical courses, the group sizes are really small. So it's usually only 2 to 3 people that do the experiments together that I mentioned earlier. And only in lectures, that's where you can be a few more people. But generally, the master courses are small. And this is also what I mentioned earlier, that you have a really nice connection to the professors. And it's really the case. You will get to know them very closely. They know who you are. They know which program you study in. And you can really form a relationship with them. Yeah.
Andrea?
Yeah, it's similar here in Dortmund. So we have between 30 and 40, I think, in total in the master's program. And then, yeah, so those are the people that might take the lectures together. But then if you do experiments, it's usually in pair of twos. If you do a seminar, it's usually like between 8 and 10 people. And what else do we have? Let me think. Yeah, sometimes you have to do like homework sheets, so you have to solve homework together and then hand it in. And usually there we have usually one tutor per, let's say, 10 people or so. So also like the student to teacher ratio is really good.
Nice. Patrick?
Yes, I think it's very similar with our program here. So I think I mentioned it in my presentation. The typical batch size, so the number of students that start in a given year is for the international physics program specifically about 10 to 15. And so this will also be a typical class size for courses which are specifically directed to these in this study program. There are some other classes where there might be that might be shared with like the German physics course. That is some of the electives, for example, are also offered in the German physics course. The electives are, of course, still held in English, but the German students can also join. Then the class size might differ from these 10 to 15. But yes, I think that's a typical size of the classes. Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, we are actually almost out of time already. I just want to point it out for all the 3 universities here, and this is for all your international students that are considering this. This is very cool. All 3 universities highlighted the importance of welcoming international students, and it can be hard, right? It can be complicated to come to a new country. So it's really, yeah, it's a good opportunity when you have this close contact and you go through this together. Anyway, this is just me editorializing here. Decision all yours. So in these last final minutes, do you have any last, maybe, I don't know, advice or words or any information you'd like to share? We can start again with Gloria, then Andrea, then Patrick, and then I'll let everyone go.
Yeah, just so in our program, the German students and the international students study together. So just because this might be different in other universities. And we also have, so I'm the study coordinator for more than one program, also for some chemistry programs. And I really like to do this spring international student party with my students. So we invite you all to a potluck dinner where everybody can bring food from their home countries. We dress up in traditional clothes. So we here might wear some dirndls, and it's really nice. So we also, yeah, do the fun part around it. It's still hard. You still have to study a lot, and it's not an easy program, but we help you through it, and we are really happy to welcome you here.
Nice.
Yeah, from my side, just as a tip, really start early with the visa process if you need a visa, because that's really the limiting factor in all of it. So most hiccups that we had were in the visa process. So sometimes you apply for a visa and you don't hear anything and so on. Then just contact me and I will ping them relentlessly until they answer. And usually this works out. But sometimes it helps to say, okay, this is an Erasmus program. This is very high prestigious program. Please answer now. We need the appointment. And that usually works out.
Cool. Patrick?
Yes, I can only agree with the importance of applying early for the visa. One of the reasons why our application deadline is so early in comparison to the beginning of the lectures, which is in the winter semester, is that international students have enough time to get a visa and so on all sorted out. The same is for local accommodations here, which can also have long waiting times. So I can only agree with this tip to really start early if you decide to come here.
Perfect. Yeah, I would also say, even from our end, yes, apply, start planning early. Go to our website, take a look at a lot of articles we have about applying for visa. Depending where you're from, there are different rules. Different countries in different embassies in the same country, they can sometimes have different information. So yeah, be thorough and be careful. Having said that, we are out of time. I would like to really thank you all for being here and sharing your knowledge here. And thanks for everyone here who joined us today